It's my honor to introduce you all to our speaker for the evening, Dr. حياة سليمان سندي.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. Your Excellency, Mr. Osama Sanusi, the Ambassador of Saudi Arabia here in Canada, Your Excellency, Dr. Faisal Abalkhail, the Culture Attaché here in Canada, distinguished guests, my brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. I'm really delighted and honored to address you all this afternoon. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you, Hakim. I'm going to talk today about living through innovation, as seen through my eyes as through scientists living through the experience. I wanted to share with you what I have come to recognize for myself, the importance of innovation, especially social innovation, to our families and our lives. 2009, I became one of the 15 social innovation fellows associated with PopTech. And in 2010, I was chosen by PopTech again as a science fellow. This is the very first time for this organization to give a dual fellowship to the same person. So what is PopTech and what is its mission? PopTech is an innovation network, an international community of leaders, thinkers, and doers who want to explore the social impact of our technologies, the underlying forces that shape our future, and the new solution to the challenges of this world. Each year, PopTech selects between 10 to 20 high-potential change agents to work on disruptive innovation to change our world. These innovations relate to healthcare, energy, development, climate, education, and civic engagement. PopTech's mission to bring positive impact to our communities through world-changing people, ideas, and projects. I'm really glad to be chosen by them because I wanted to lead innovation and I wanted to make a tangible difference to people's life. What do I mean by social innovation? Social innovation is based on a group of ambitious ideas to solve social problems. With social innovation, we are changing institutions, organizations, and approaches in a fundamental way so we can fix the many problems that face us. Take microfinance, for example. It is a fantastic idea. Its special loans go to the entrepreneurs who are too poor to qualify for traditional bank loan. The poor are highly motivated. The result is reduced poverty. Now let us look to the historical role of the social innovation and how it's been working for us. An example of Western social innovator comes from the 18th century, Benjamin Franklin. He was an author, a printer, politician, scientist, inventor, civic activist, statesman, soldier, and diplomat. He created innovative technologies such as bifocal lenses, the lightning rod, and Franklin stove. He set up the first public lending library, the U.S. University, and the fire department. Hence, solve a community problem was very important to him. Later, social innovation was written about in the 18th and 19th century by Peter Drucker and especially Michael Young. He was behind Open University, a university education broadcast to television sets in 1960s and 1970s. It was an inspiring idea, transforming lives. So why the social innovation in the news now? Well, the world's population has grown from 250 million in the 8th century into 6 billion today, 24 times larger. This world faces famine, war, killer viruses, and depression. Very tough lives for the people in the East and the West. This is worsened by the recent market crash. Thus, the way we live and do business is being questioned. Can we use social innovation to improve the human condition? Can we improve our lives? Is science involved? Social innovation is very complex with many social and technology factors to consider. One factor often behind these breakthroughs is science. Some fear science is out of reach, but this is not true. Nowadays, science is different. Not the space shuttle of years gone by, but the new biotechnology, nanotechnology that's shaping our world. Science is becoming more human. Nanotechnology, for example, controls very small things that you cannot see to make a big difference in society. For business, imagine being able to make a smart jacket that has all your office tools and weighs next to nothing. Or how we can transform the atom of your pencil into diamond, or into tissue functioning in our human body that replaces heart valve or bladder. With the power of nano, we can build a smaller, inexpensive, efficient product. We don't need all the big engineering. In the poor area of a developing world, many people are deprived from the benefit of science and technology. But it could give them better health and quality of life. Why is not happening for them? Because people in a developed world look at the end product and see it is inconceivable to apply it to developing countries. For example, it's not easy to carry a huge MRI scanner to a hospital in West Africa, whereas the majority of people live in a remote area where there is no electricity. Being smart and having resources is not enough for a true breakthrough to change human lives. We need to aim science at these social issues in order to make an impact. Then we can customize it to people's needs according to their infrastructure and way of life. But to do this, we need to have a big enterprise. We need to have talented people and a strong leader who is passionate about it. We want science targeted as a social issue. So from the start, science linked to society. Here I would like to ask a question. What is the role of women within science and society? And what world did they face back then and now? Back then, women were most certainly inspiring scientists who had asked clever questions about the world to feed their curiosity. Many female chemists, anthropologists, and physicists are documented in Eastern and Western literature are not widely known. They all celebrated education, and it gave knowledge to lift people away from hardship. For example, in the 8th century, 10th century before Benjamin Franklin, a woman opened the first university in the world to help liberate people with the power of knowledge. Her name is Fatima al-Fihri, al-Banin, a Muslim Arabic lady who migrated to Fas, Morocco from Al-Qayrawan. She established the University of Al-Qayrawin with the money inherited from her father, a wealthy businessman. They taught our ancestors grammar, medicine, maths, astronomy, chemistry, history, geography, and music, and later, social and natural sciences, physics, and foreign languages. And soon after, her sister, Maryam al-Banin, founded another university, the second in history, Jamia al-Andalus. They are powerful examples of social innovation in themselves. And the scientists born there allowed us to innovate even more. Here, social innovation was truly catalyzed by these women. So women, you should be proud. Now, and over the last century, women scientists have faced many challenges. Not until the early 1940s, for example, most top female scientists could only reach associate professor, irrespective of her talent. There were obstacles in the system. Because male dominated the faculty, it was a gentleman's profession. They had never had them, never wanted them, never known what to do with them, and never want to share scientific data with them. By 1980s, the women's movement began, and they received more recognition. But women still had to work very hard to improve themselves, to get grants, equipment, to get promotions and tenure. But what stands out about women in all of this is they are missing from the leadership role. They are rarely decide about the aim of strong scientific team, about the aim of science. What happened to her nerve, her self-confidence, her leadership skills, her ability to believe in evidence of her intelligence? Let us look at their grades in high school over 15 years. On the left shows the grades from 1990 in science and math, increase for both boys and girls, but girls leading the boys. And on the right shows more women than men are leaving with college degrees. There are the facts. Our colleges find women are better in science and math, and more are leaving with college degrees. But have a look at the relative number of women scientists as a Nobel Prize winners compared with men. I'm sad to say women are in minority. Only 16 of them over the last century compared with 523 men. That's only 3%. But what concerns me the most is that the scientific decision makers, the opinion leader of the world, have less women. How does the lack of women scientists impact society? I believe women's talent, their passion, curiosity, empathy, and caring are lost from our community. Now, only a few women are leading the way in scientific business, health research institutions, and universities. Let us bring more women into science, women to lead science, to drive the fruit of social innovation. And here an example of the benefit. When airbags were introduced, they were designed by a largely male team of decision makers. And although these airbags protected men in an accident, they result in avoidable death for women and children. Perhaps with more women in the team designing the Elias airbags, the designs may have protected women and children as well as men to save more lives. So what is my role, and how can I help to light this path forward? Now I would like to share with you a bit of my journey, a bit of my passion to serve mankind. My journey has involved breaking boundaries between East and the West to serve society, to help everyone. Men, women, children, different religion, color, or culture. Not fearing and looking to find the good, the value of people who can work together, humanity together. I was born in Mecca al-Mukarramah. I came from a family of 8 children with traditional upbringing and enormous love for knowledge. Since childhood, I really admire characters who did something for humanity, either in the area of medicine, literature, or physics. I dreamed to be like them one day, to make a difference in this world. I left home in my teens, not a word of English, to go to Britain, to follow my dream to become a scientist. But it wasn't easy. When I arrived in England, I had a dream that everything will be rosy and all the doors will be open for me. But it wasn't the case. They told me my Saudi qualification was not sufficient to UK university, so they asked me to go back home. They told me that even if I had to do the A-levels again, my English would prevent me to understand them all in 1 year. They indicated they know the fate of my life and they want me to go home, and they called me crazy. It was tough for me because I don't want to go back home yet. I just arrived in England after 2 years to convince my family, and I wanted to fulfill my dream. So I thought I had a brain just like that, so if they can make it, then I can. That first year, I hardly slept at all. It was full of pain, joy, and tears. I studied between 18 to 20 hours a day. I never felt in my life I want something so badly more than to pass my A-levels. I managed to pass them all with flying colors, and I managed to get unconditional offer from all the universities rejected me in the past. That gave me another push to believe in myself again, to be resilient and not let people to belittle my dreams and hope. I went to King's College, University of London, where I graduated in honors in pharmacology. And then I was so lucky to get full scholarship from Cambridge University in England to do my PhD in biotechnology. Cambridge is very beautiful, but sometimes the inner reality can be very different. I found it harder there because I was judged as soon as I arrived. I was told by many people that I'm going to fail for two reasons. First, because religion doesn't go with science. Second, because I was a female in a male-dominated world. Many times I was told I will fail because religion holds a person back, that my mind will be restricted from exploring, innovating, and discovering. And this is quite opposite to my Islamic and cultural upbringing in Saudi Arabia. In our Islamic culture, so many Quranic and prophetic sayings that encourage us to learn, to study, to explore, to think, to observe, to analyze, and question. I was told that it only takes me 3 months either to give up or change. Guess what happened? I managed to prove them wrong, and I graduated with PhD in biotechnology. And was also recognized scientifically and internationally by a fantastic lab around the world. For example, NASA, Berkeley University, Sandhi Lab in Texas, Euromedica in Switzerland, Tokyo Institute of Technology in Japan, Weizmann Institute in Tel Aviv. I was given the special name from my King Abdullah as the elite student in Mahuba. I was invited by Prince Philip to join the Royal College of Teachers in St. James Palace. I was given an assignment by the Department of Health to discover the cause of the mad cow disease. And then I was invited to the House of Commons to be a member of British Top Younger Researchers. I started my own company in diagnostic in England, and I was so lucky to receive a prize from Prince Khalid Al Faisal as in science and technology. And also I was thrilled to be announced as a National Geographic Explorer last week. People always ask me how I made it. It is important to remain who you are, retain your identity of your own culture, and recognize, too, that the other nationalities have many positive things to offer. It is crucial to believe in yourself and passionately resonate with your own clear vision of your dream, because the impact will be huge. When I end my PhD, people say to me that I received my goal, I reached my goal, that's enough. For me, this is the beginning of my second journey to give what I gained to mankind. 4 years ago, I moved to Harvard. I came to work in a very special lab that by everybody's standard is a fantastic lab. Why it is fantastic? Because this lab is making great discoveries, what engage the society and community. This is George Whiteside Lab. There we came with an invention, a unique one, a social innovation. With this invention is going to change people's lives. Also with this invention, we won both competition, Harvard Social Enterprise Competition and 100K MIT at the same year. Never before a team won in the same year 2 competitions. They said we enter history. Then I established a company, a co-founder, called it Diagnostic for All, DFA. So what is Diagnostic for All mission? Diagnostic for All mission to provide affordable, low-cost diagnostic tool to everywhere in the world. We developed in our lab a unique type of sensor made of paper. It helps poor people around the world. It will potentially save millions of lives every year. It replaces huge machine and put the power of scientific lab at the patient's fingertips, who cannot access hospitals, who cannot access doctors and equipment, so they can monitor their health and provide better way of life. And here's a picture of it. And I have it here if anybody wants to have a look. So what is the technology based on? It's made of paper, as I mentioned, so it's very low cost, as low as a penny per device. It is easy to carry, to fold, to put it in your pocket. It doesn't require a highly skilled person to operate it, and it doesn't require external equipment. And above all, it can get rid of it very easily by incinerating it with the match. Also, the technology is very tiny. It only requires a few drops of biological fluid. And what makes it unique, because we can do all the above in a piece of paper while maintaining the high level of quality. And here is a diagram how it works. If you drop a biological fluid into the device, the fluid wicks up to the channel, where it's going to react with chemical reagent based in the chambers, and it changes color according to what we have in the biological fluid. Here we are testing in urine, glucose, and protein. Now I'm going to talk to you about another invention, a unique one. It's also a revolution. If we want to heal people and conquer diseases, we need to know much more about our human body, because we need this information before we give drugs and other medication. Our health, our happiness, and our children depend on it. So I invented another chip when I was in Cambridge, a special biochip. This is nothing like this chip out there. It's a new generation. With this invention, I can help scientists to understand the chemistry of life, protein, DNA, enzyme, and ultimately the secret of life. Also, I can help doctors to use it as a tool to diagnose for diseases. It measures blood very quickly in minutes with parallel tests. It would normally take weeks for any technician to do in a conventional lab. So what is the technology? Here it is. Basically, it's a spot of aluminum on a glass. But when you generate with laser, it will generate vibration and acoustic wave that's very sensitive to detect single molecules like breast cancer molecules. I see this technology as a way of getting cancer tests to women as early as possible, where the technology can make a difference. Right at the point of care, doctor may use it in the local surgery. And because it's very low cost, it can reach women everywhere. I have here about 10,000 sensors in 1 centimeter square. And that can be so powerful. The army of sensors can do magic for medical research. And just here an example how it works. If you could see the blue disc is the sensor, and if it works by vibration, so if there is no single molecule of the breast cancer, the vibration is very loud. But the minute we have a constant molecules in the solution, that's reduced. And the difference here detect of the concentration of the breast cancer molecules. Similarly, I can believe the Middle East has the power and the mission to take lead in innovation, to put science and society hand in hand. The Middle East has the resources to do this. It can work with this model and offer something to the world by putting money into philanthropic companies and through the students sent out to the West to be educated, to help the personal growth of talented youths, to aim self-sufficiency and independence, to bring out the best in them so they can reach their full potential in their own country, to create jobs, to provide the foundation of stability. To satisfy this need, along with the network of colleagues and mentors, I'm launching a new foundation based on NGO model. Its mission to provide entrepreneurial environment for the youth in science and engineering and technology in the Middle East, where it has never done before. This NGO will support young scientists and engineers, male or female. We want them to be innovative, making new markets and forming new companies. A focus of science to social needs. Direct connection to the youth to bring vision, hope, and direction. and to connect with the knowledge leaders. And being a woman, a role model that will also empower women, leading to stronger society. We plan to launch foundation, inshallah, this year in October 2011 at PopTech conference, and hope you can join me there. Finally, in all of this I have learned, first, social innovation is when you are treating science and society as a whole, science and society as one. I truly believe dreams for better lives are possible if you care enough. Second, originality, integrity, and taqwa need to be kept alive, as my parent taught me. They should underline our nation's vision of the future, our strategies, our decisions, actions, and behaviors. Finally, women clearly have the ability and potential, as much as men or more, to be great scientists, to take crucial decisions, life-changing decisions. But to do this, they need to be encouraged by men. They need to be encouraged by their fathers, brothers, husbands, uncles, and managers. And women, you need to show them determination. Look beyond the surface and consider your ability is more than you think. Do it because you can. Take your compassion to the top. As my father encouraged me. My father said to me when he sent me first time to Britain, he said to me, Hayat, don't let me down. My father passed away last year. And I hope I did him proud. His encouragement allowed me to face walls, to climb over them. It kept me strong, believing in myself. I pushed hard, Saudi, London, Cambridge, Oxford, Harvard, MIT. I believed in that dream as a child to benefit mankind, and it's all happened. Thank you very much for listening. I'm open for any question. Anybody would like to ask me a question?
It's really an honor for me to meet you, and it was a nice talk. And I was wondering about the technology you talked about, the sensors. You talked about the molecule. What do you mean by molecule? Is it genes or messenger RNAs? What kind of molecules? And can you talk more about the principle about the technique?
Yes, I can. Molecules, it's mean either DNA or enzyme or protein. But for the cancer molecules, it's very, very small. It's about 200 molecular weight. And it's very hard to detect it at the moment because usually they use mammogram. And that's when the cancer reaches second or third stage. But I'm detecting the release of protein of markers in the blood. So even before become as a lump or a cancer, I can detect that. And that was a problem for 50 years because it was hard to find a biochip that's work in water, especially in blood, because acoustic waves are perfect for that, but they get damp and shorten in liquid. So I created acoustic wave from not the normal traditional way. I was very, for a long time, I was consider me is not a real, they couldn't conceive that it happened because usually acoustic wave has to be with wires and special material, whereas this is only a piece of glass or plastic with a spot of aluminium, but with the laser I get this concept and it's happened. And usually the acoustic wave we have that in a mobile phone around 500 megahertz, I can do 2 gigahertz here with no problem with water. And as I said, it's harder to find an array of sensors. Because of the wires, I can have 10,000, 25,000 in 1 centimeter spot. So usually it's a marker, it can be DNA, can be, but usually here the gene. Yeah.
السلام عليكم.
Yes,
معك ولاء مطاوع. So you said that women need to be encouraged by men. And I just wanted to ask you, how do you keep yourself motivated 24 hours, 7 days a week, and for the whole year? And who give you the courage?
Okay, I said women need to be encouraged by men, but also there is another side of the equation. Women need to show that they are serious. As I said, and I said, women need to show you're really compassionate about, and you look beyond surface, you know. I don't mean anything bad here, but most women now, they look to the, like, above the surface, shallow. You need to look more deeper about what is the real role of you, because you're compatible to the man in terms of your role in society. So it is the equation. Without the help of my father, without his encouragement, I wouldn't be pursuing here. And of course, without the help of wherever you have in your life, a brother or sister, or even King Abdullah with his great generosity of the grant to be here. Without that, you cannot do it. What keeps me doing this, I think, is my passion and also my love to make something to the world. I feel like each one single of us have something to offer, a signature for us in this world, because we are not creating for nothing. And all of us can contribute to the world. It doesn't have to be a professor or a scientist or anything. Wherever you have to really have a goal in life. You have to have a passion and mission. Yes, you are married, you have children. That's your duty. It's different when you have a mission, something to live for you. And when you leave, you have something to remember with. So that's what came me. And also my Islamic upbringing, my tradition, my culture, my heroes, الكندية, Marie Curie, Einstein. I didn't have Michael Jackson or Madonna or Shakira as my role. You can have fun, you know. I don't mean you don't have fun, but you have to really understand first why you are doing this for and who you're living for. And you are here to present your family first, your values, your religion, your country. So it's the whole combination. And also you have to interact with society. And that's what kept me, because I don't want you to be isolated. I don't want you to be scared of mixing with the other culture, because trust me, the most important people they need to know about you, the educated people, because they think they know it all, but they don't. You need to communicate with them. You need to be polite with them. You need to show them. And the best message, when you respect yourself, then people respect you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. It's a huge privilege and big honor for me to stand and ask you this question, Doctor. But you mentioned that they told you there are 2 obstacles for you that's going to cause your failure when you went to Cambridge University. The second one was because you were a woman and you proved them wrong, indeed. But the first one you said, they told you that the religion is a big, like it's going to pull you back. How did you prove them wrong? How is the religion, how is it the opposite?
Why do they think the religion can hold me back? Is that what the question? No. How did I make them?
Yeah.
Simply because in the core of us, you know, the universe created for us to explore. You know, when God revealed the Quran, you know, it asked us to think about what we have in the universe. For them, you know, the discussion I have with them, they say, you know, Hayat, you have the answer for you. Everything is created by Allah. So there is no excitement, because you already knew this is by Allah, okay? For them, I said, when you go to a journey, everybody knows, like, you know, when you go into Italy, for example, you go on the internet, you go and buy a book to read about it. You've seen a picture in front of you, but when you live the journey, when you discover why everything made in this way, this is the full beauty, and this is what we ask for. And I told them, in my Islam, actually is made me to be explorer, made me to be discoverer. Why? Because Islam answered the 3 questions that every one of us really, or everybody in the world always asks. Why we are here? What is the purpose of, you know, who created us? Why we are here? And what happened to us after we die? So that gives us peace, tumanina, for nothing left for us except to explore. For them, that's also a contradiction. And the way I prove them wrong, because Islam always encouraged me to explore. And this is the core of like my ibadah, my worship. This is our worship, actually, to think and analyze and to be innovative, to be creative. This is your role as a Muslim.
Dr. Hayat, it's really an honor meeting you. I actually have a quick question. As a scientist, how do you deal with the scientific fact that is against Quran or Islam? Like, the reason I'm asking this question, I'm currently studying genetics at University of Toronto, and I've been through evolution and stuff like that, but I don't know how to deal with it.
There is nothing in science against Islam.
For example, Darwin's theory, for example.
Okay, this is a theory, and it's always a question for right or wrong. And if you read also a lot of Darwin books, so many verses of him saying that when I look to the feather of the peacock at Taus, or the structure of the eye, it make me feel sick because I cannot find explanation to it. The evolvement of the organisms we have, we can see the trend, but there is until now no empirical evidence there is, we come from the apes. They're still doing that, and it doesn't mean that is wrong or right, but nothing there can contradict Islam, what we have in science. So it's still a theory. It is nothing there, evidence that we came from that. We believe in the evolution of the organism of the animals, but as a Muslim, I don't believe as a human come from an animal origin.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for here.
I think I forget my English now because I know you speak Arabic. I have a question, and it's two parts. First part, the sensor that you're talking about, is that going to take us out of radiotherapy, chemotherapy, and all of like treatment for cancer right now? Is that going to help?
This is not for treatment. This to prevent the disease. This is like the early detection of cancer. It's like monitoring. If somebody has a glucose and he's scared to have a level of that, he can cause him a coma. He can always screen. So this is screening before to develop the cancer. Because I believe if you develop it, if you discover in early stages, you can prevent the formation of cancer cells.
Yeah, I'm doing my program in radiotherapy, and I'm wondering if I'm going back home, will I find it? So thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
I will. I will create another job for you. Think about others. Don't think about only yourself. Think about social innovation.
Assalamu alaikum, Dr. Hayat. You are such an inspiration that inspired me and all the, I think, girls here, more than you think. Because empowerment women is the subject in Saudi Arabia, is the subject that motivated me to come here and make different in the future. My question is, what's your advice for me to continue and never give up?
Okay, you already have the answer. You said you are here because you are motivated to do something about women.
Yeah.
So what is your role here to do something about women? So choose something that's passionate to you and going to make an impact. And I'm sure you will be wonderful.
Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure to meet you. Thank you so much for coming today. And we're completely inspired by your journey and by your invention. And I wanted to ask you a question a little bit different than the scientific part, but focus on education and employment. I'm not sure if that's part of your foundation, which is job creation and educational training program based on what you're doing. I just wanted to learn more about your vision, how you plan to implement some of these programs, simply because the Middle East and North Africa has the highest unemployment rate amongst youth. And I just wanted to learn more about your vision. Thanks again.
Great question. In 9 years, we need to create 68 million jobs in MENA region, in the Middle East and North Africa. Yes, and bear in mind, more than like 40% of population is at the age of 18 or less. This is the fact, okay? We have a huge number of students being sent here, which is so lucky for us to have a great program to send them for education. It never happened before in the history of any country, the generosity of King Abdullah. Jazakallah khair. But I always believe there is other side of education. Education by itself, it's great, but there is something else called innovation and creativity. And this is something that 3 times needed to have a budget and different school of thought, you need that. Because the talented youth, they go back, they need to implement what they have learned to affect society. And that's what I would like to create, a program for them to become entrepreneur, to know how to launch enterprise successfully. And I want really to make them focus what they learn here to solve your local problem in your country. Because whatever I learn so far in my journey, all of things I learn is for my country back home. Because this is what the real impact. Whenever you choose a subject, choose something that you're going to impact in society, because this is the real fruit here. And in this program also, I'm going to help the scientists to be able how to communicate with the public, how to be themselves role model, to encourage and inspire other students. Because yourself also, for me, you're inspiring me, and I want you to be able to know how to inspire your community, your family, your society, and how yourself you're going to push hard to be creative. And that's very, very important in the Middle East. And I feel the science and engineering and technology, because I'm expert in that, this is what I think the solution for creating jobs there. Somebody else maybe can copy this model for something else that, that will be great, because it doesn't matter how much we have. That's what we wanted to really, really push hard to have innovation and creativity.
Yes. Dr. Hayat, Assalamu alaikum. Thanks for coming here. It's such an inspiring. I just want to ask you, have lived, 20 years in the Western countries learning and doing innovation. What do they have that we don't have as Middle Eastern that we don't have? Are we not smart? I don't think so, because we have smart people, but we don't have the opportunity. So there's something wrong with the system, but there's no wrong with the people. They are really smart, but we just need the opportunity to prove them wrong. The Western countries, what do they have that we don't have? As a scientist, you have built the Hayat Foundation. So is it more about to educate people or just to give them the opportunity so they can build and innovate and create more stuff and technology? Thank you.
Thank you for your question. It's a very important question. You see, don't forget that Saudi Arabia is still a young country. Okay? And most of the people are youth, and that's why you're here. You're from Saudi Arabia? You are from under the scholarship. So that's why you're here. So you're going to go back and change. Because Saudi Arabia is still a young country compared with the University of Cambridge is 800 years. So they are really long there in terms of, the experience in education and innovation, creating companies in science and technologies. And as I mentioned always in the past about Fatima al-Fihri, she's the founder of all sciences that exist now. Okay, but we cannot just all the time think about history. And the problem with us, we think that we made it in the past, we can do it now. That doesn't work. Because, it's not the same. It's not like you are jumping and suddenly, or riding a bicycle, suddenly, if you lift it for 10 years, you can just learn in 5 minutes. This is the whole generation, this is the whole different way of structure, infrastructure. And we are getting there, and that's why I see, mashallah, plenty of you here to make that difference. Of course, we're learning, that's why we're here, and we recognize that, and we wanted to learn from good universities already been there before us. But when you go back, I want you to also to concentrate how you can make an impact, because the great discoveries, if you think about it, let's think about penicillin or insulin. Why is it a great discovery? Because it touched people's lives. Okay, I want you, when you go back, think about something going to serve your community, and then you will see different in terms of how the country will be progressed by you.
Assalamualaikum, Dr. Hayat. I have the pleasure of meeting you again. I met you in your visit a few months ago. Just as a follow-up to the initial question about education, how would you say we can raise innovators in our households in the Middle East? That's one question.
Sorry, again.
How can we raise innovators in our households in the Middle East? And the second question, being a female from the Middle East, how would you say we can deal with all the cultural impacts that are surrounding all the females in the Middle East, from being raised to educated to starting a career, to following that passion? And then we're always stopped by several cultural impacts around us, from, you know, what's right for a female to do, what's not, to marriage, to traveling abroad, and so on. Thank you.
The first question, how we can... Actually, this is a question always in any countries. Here, I mean, in America, they review the curriculum every 6 months, okay? How to be creative, how to be innovative, that starts from very much from kindergarten. It starts actually from the house, from the home itself. And that's required the whole society. It doesn't require in one thing. Of course, schools are very important, but also how the parents, how the student, how you spend your time. Because most of now the young generation in front of the TV or in front of the computer. I don't remember, I never had this, except National Geographic. I used to watch it. I'm allowed with my father. But I usually stayed like 3 hours. I had like a little chair. It's a broken chair with the throne, like and I used to go inside that chair and for 3 hours to think. And we need to have this bit of freedom. Even in a curriculum, like the heavy curriculum, I prefer that if we have less and more hands-on, and also in the house that encouraged by the parent. Because as a child, you are absorbing information, and you need some time to think about the information to build your personality. And sometimes when you bombard with too many questions or too many information and not thinking, that can affect you very much of your brain to develop, even to allow it to, because you already accept things without explaining. For example, you accept the car is moving, but you never ask question, why is moving this way? You see, I don't think a lot of children ask this question now anymore. They explain we travel in an airplane, but they don't ask question, how we can this lift it up, why the ship is sailed. They don't ask this type of question, they accept it without leaving the brain to, and also the education system, you need to have more space and more like helping them from the young age to create that. The second question, this is the issue for women everywhere, even though in our country it has different styles and means, but every single country has the same problem. This is the fact of the universe. And the only thing you can do, like, if how you are convinced and how you're going to use the best you have to make what, I mean, we have so many things, we can use it for our potential. And I don't want to have this atmosphere of saying we cannot have that in my country. I don't like that, because we can. If you have a will, you can be whatever you like. I don't like this thing when people say, oh, in our country we cannot do that. I find it really, I cannot accept it, because if you go and visit people around the world where they have minimum, and they also be creative. And you know, in some time of the camps, I used to visit the camps in Shabra and Shatil, and I found 3 girls, they come with the invention, they won Microsoft Award. They had nothing, but they come with the walking stick for the blind, so when they can climb the stairs, he can detect the steps, and they had nothing. So I felt shame of myself and keep on complaining that we don't have resources. Yes, we do. And the resources is you. I love to meet, I mean, I think we're short for time, but I would love to meet every single of you. I would love to shake hands with every single of you before you go. I'm so privileged that you're here. I'm so touched by your presence. I'm over the moon, and I'm humbled. Thank you.